Walk alone. Remain quiet. Allow those truths to strike you like icy water at dawn. Harsh, startling, inescapable. Because here's the reality no one dares to voice. The audience that cheers you the most right now will vanish as soon as you cease captivating them. And the aspirations you share with those who comprehend will frequently fade in their grasp. Not due to malice, but because they lack your passion. So this evening or at first light tomorrow, you step forward. No declaration, no celebration, no approvals needed. Just you, your breathing, your pulse, and the path ahead. Tell me, how much of your existence have you surrendered to distractions? Alerts attempting to control your focus. Opinions from those who've created nothing, instructing you on creation. Spaces that seemed packed, yet left you more isolated than beneath a vast, vacant horizon. You recognize that sensation. The pain of feigning contentment, since it's simpler to pretend than to reveal. The dread of being misinterpreted. The hushed choice at 2:17 a.m. to erase the images, silence the conversation, cease excessive sharing, and begin honoring commitments to yourself. That's the instant, the turning point where ordinary concludes and unbreakable commences. Not with an explosion, but with a gentle inner murmur. It's time. The world mistakes quietness for fragility. They label you aloof, indifferent, altered. They'll claim you believe you're superior. They'll say you're transformed. Excellent. Transformation is your gateway. Transformation is where the atmosphere thins and the perspective belongs to you. You didn't arrive to thrive on lone praise. You arrived to construct an existence that applauds itself because the effort is genuine. The routines are genuine. The evolution is genuine. You don't require universal comprehension. You need self-understanding. So let's create something now. A fresh pattern where solitary walking isn't a penalty. It's strength. Where quiet isn't void. It's your personal workshop where the evidence won't lie in declarations, but in repetitions. Because the outcomes, they will serve as the sole amplifier you'll require. Envision this. You rise prior to sunrise. No epic music, no highlight reel, just the noise of your souls meeting the ground and a vow resonating in a space that once observed delay. Today, I honor my pledge. The device remains inverted. The universe can pause. The vapor from coffee ascends. Your journal unfolds. The initial sheet is chaotic. That's fine. Remarkable journeys are drafted in lead before etched in permanence. You map the upcoming 3 hours like a warrior readying for battle. Concentrated, straightforward, achievable. No extravagant displays, no boasts, merely essentials. And then you proceed softly, like precipitation that saturates the earth's sandstorms or roars, yet nurtures woodlands. The issue is you've been conditioned to pursue clamor. Share it. Inform them. Display it. You come to link exposure with advancement. When the fact is advancement frequently occurs in obscurity, unobserved, unappreciated, undisclosed. You confused affirmation for guidance. You confused notice for esteem. You confused a gathering for a network. And each instance you grasped the device rather than the task, a fragment of your drive escaped. That escape turns into a torrent. Days evolve into months where you're scheming, sorting it out, awaiting the ideal instant, while your vision subtly withers. This is the sorrow beneath the grin, the unspoken mourning of self-deception, but then the revelation. It emerges in unexpected spots. Lingering in a lift with unknowns, perched on your mattress edge, fastening your footwear, or gazing at your image in a fitness center restroom under stark glowing bulbs. You comprehend no one arrives to revise your justifications. No one arrives to surpass your dedication for you. No one arrives to applaud you into a fresh existence. The reinforcements aren't delayed. It's you. And that awareness wounds and mends simultaneously. Because if it's you, then you can initiate. If it's you, then the entrance is already unbolted. If it's you, then quiet ceases to seem like discipline and begins to resemble a refuge. You've awaited the globe to hush. It won't. So, you resolve to hush amid the uproar. You turn into the calm center in a whirling space. You turn into the individual who constructs while others dispute. Let me guide you into the initial segment of this novel phase. The one where solitary walking is a selection, not a verdict. You will appear self-centered. Excellent. Be self-committed. That isn't conceit. That's harmony. You will shed connections. Excellent. You're not shedding. You're discovering who's authentic. You will encounter periods where progress stalls. Excellent. Endurance is your fresh asset. Invest in it routinely because the individual who can linger in quiet and persist, the individual who can stroll in isolation and maintain strolling becomes the individual who can transport a goal through barren lands. You recall the evening the group discussion erupted with weekend schemes and you entered perhaps later, then removed it, then entered, count me in. Then removed it once more and ultimately secured the device because you understood the destination of that route. You understood you'd expend funds you lack, awaken tardy, forfeit your dawn opportunity, and restart the loop of postponement. But you also understood the cost of refusal, the fear of exclusion, a touch of solitude, someone's mocking remark. Friend, you seldom join anymore. You permit them to speak. You allow the stillness to bite for 60 minutes and then you lace your footwear. You strolled beneath a canopy indifferent to your social agenda. You sensed the breeze in your chest like an assurance. You heeded your own strides and for the first occasion in ages they echoed like guidance. This is where the shift initiates. When you select the trail over the gathering. When you select the sheet over the update. When you select the repetitions over the festivities. When you select to develop in the hush that terrifies others. Because hush is a reflection displaying your habits, your realities, your pretexts, your talents. It never deceives. It never compliments. It never implores. And if you can master standing before that reflection without fleeing, you will evolve into someone you admire. You're bound to be misconstrued. Permit them to misconstrue. You're bound to be deemed dull. Be dull and unyielding. You're bound to feel unseen. Excellent. Unseen is your practice shield. What you can't yet perceive in a reflection, the globe won't overlook afterward. But the afterward only materializes if you remain loyal presently, not eventually. Not when motivated. Not when conditions align. Now, in this inhalation, there's a teaching the noisy realm conceals from you. Fixation and regularity appear insane initially. The figures you respect, those who convert debris into art and moments into masterpieces, weren't embraced at the outset. They were interrogated. They were mistrusted. They were mocked at family meals by relatives unable to fathom what remained hidden. And they didn't debate. They didn't compose essays to justify. They resumed labor softly, enduringly, daily. Their quiet wasn't barren. It was readiness. Absorb that, embody that, safeguard that. Now, let's discuss the sentimental path you're embarking on. Not theoretically. In vitality and respiration and dawns and evenings. First, you must safeguard your concentration. Your concentration is a plot. Each aimless browse sows invasives. Each session with your ledger, your skill, your regimen blueprint, your learning materials, sows oaks. Oaks don't yell. They don't hasten. They simply expand. Your duty is to defend the terrain. That implies no further proclaiming sprouts before they emerge. No further informing folks you're poised to revolutionize all. Sow, hydrate, illuminate, iterate. Let them discover upon sighting the woodland. Second, You must ally with monotony. Monotony isn't the adversary. It's the passage. The passage linking aim and essence is constructed with recurring boards. Rise, labor, stroll, scribe, elevate, examine, extend, rest. Repeatedly, the globe will propose spectacles. You will opt for lantern glow. Spectacles dazzle. Lantern glow reshapes. Spectacles suit masses. Lantern glow suits artisans. Ignite your lantern. Shield it with dual palms when gusts surge. Sustain its flame when unobserved. That blaze becomes your existence. Third, you will exercise extreme limits. Not boisterous, theatrical, severing all proclamations, hushed limits, a schedule mirroring your emphases. A rest hour safeguarding your dawn. A main display with reduced symbols and increased purpose. A refusal delivered courteously and firmly. A dialogue you bypass because chatter tempts sweetly and toxifies gradually. You will sense the resistance of selecting yourself in a society idolizing diversion. Embrace that resistance like protection. Each refusal to disorder is an affirmation to drive. Fourth, you will master the skill of vanishing sans departure. You can reside in identical dwelling, identical metropolis, identical occupation, and become unfamiliar because you permit your practices to draw you to a novel wavelength. You still beam. You are still compassionate. You're merely unavailable for pettiness. Folks will observe, some will emulate, some will oppose. Both responses are details, not directives. Continue strolling. Fifth, you will communicate via achievements. There will arrive a moment when someone remarks, "You've evolved." You'll affirm, "You won't contend." You'll allow the day's labor respond to inquiries. Your quiet won't be chilly. It will be exact. You won't boast. You'll exhibit. You won't gloat. You'll offer proof. Segments completed, distances covered, sheets populated, transactions completed, burdens raised, tongues mastered, abilities gained, not flawless, not straight, just authentic. And authenticity triumphs over eloquence eternally. I urge you to envision 1 week experienced at complete sincerity with yourself. 7 days where your agenda isn't a desire roster, it's a pact. 7 days where you commence modest and replicate it fiercely. You stroll solo for half an hour, precipitation or shine. You isolate your device during your intense labor period. You nourish as if honoring your tomorrow. You document the reality, not the act. You conclude what you initiate. At the close of those 7 days, you won't be repaired. You'll be discovered. You'll possess evidence that you can be relied upon. And reliance in yourself is the motor that will transport you through the subsequent 90 days, the subsequent 9 months, the subsequent 9 years. But the instant you commence, the tempests will commence. Anticipate it. The system won't compensate your quiet. The circle might cease extending invitations. The former urges will tap at the entrance with myriad justifications cloaked as logic. You've performed well. Pause briefly. You're not overlooking much. Browse slightly. You'll recommence tomorrow. Tomorrow is where ambitions perish. Today is the sole realm where wonders are bestowed virtues. Stamp your entry. Enter wholly. What transpires when you lack instant outcomes? When you toil for 14 days and the reflection appears unchanged? When you submit for positions or institutions or patrons, and the quiet you selected encounters quiet from the globe? Here's what transpires. You construct regardless. You honor the pledge regardless. You regard the mundane days as hallowed days because they are. The strength develops in the repetitions nobody records. The expertise intensifies in the versions nobody peruses. The intellect hones in the dawns nobody commends. You were created to be steadfast, not fickle. You were created to be stable, not viral. You were created to be a constructor, not a proclaimer of intents. There's a narrative I require you to grasp. A young lady resolves to cease justifying herself to folks who merely sought the amusement of her difficulties, not the accountability of her triumphs. She halted excessive disclosure. She halted trying out for sympathy. She transitioned to early risings and extended strolls. The initial month was solitary. The second month was serene. The third month, her pace altered. Her speech decelerated. Her gaze stabilized. Companions inquired, "Are you all right?" She grinned and replied, "Superior to all right." They couldn't perceive it yet, but she could sense it. The foundations were clutching the earth. Another narrative. A man who perpetually required the group's endorsements ceased attending the venues where his persona was least hourly. He surrendered the attire. He commenced raising at daybreak, perusing during meal intervals, attending evening sessions unknown to others. He removed the programs he employed to dazzle outsiders. He ceased issuing statements, commenced issuing investments. He didn't exit the arena with a theatrical announcement. He merely grew hushed. 2 years afterward, nobody identified him. Not because he vanished from existence, but because he ultimately materialized in his own. This is the extended endeavor, and it will challenge you. Folks will request entry to sections they decline to peruse while you compose them. They'll claim you overlook them when they never recalled you. They'll tap precisely when your concentration warms, and you must resolve. Will you permit yesterday to command today once more? Or will you maintain the boundary? Will you safeguard your drive like a parent shields their offspring? Will you select the stroll over the greeting, the quiet over the display, the pledge over the gathering? You are not unfeeling for selecting separation. You are not haughty for selecting regimen. You are not impolite for selecting restoration. You are not tedious for selecting expertise. You are not concealed for selecting endurance. And you are not misplaced for selecting to stroll solo. You are located. Examine your schedule. The forthcoming 90 days aren't merely dates. They are a passageway. At the termination of that passageway is an entrance bearing your name. A rendition of you that is more serene, more robust, more hushed, more genuine. To attain it, you will bear 3 instruments: your souls, your concentration, your trust. Souls because movement surpasses disposition. Concentration because attention is the ultimate ability and yours is no longer available. Trust because the outcomes arrive delayed and you must persist prematurely. You will be enticed to gauge advancement by awards. Don't. Gauge by grip. Grip is the unseen calculation that renders wonders appear coincidental. It's what occurs when you link 12 routine dawns consecutively. It's what occurs when you consume hydration rather than pretexts. When you peruse 10 sheets rather than disputes. When you perform the subsequent correct action sans observer. Grip is hushed. Grip is tenacious. Grip is the distinction between I wish and I exist. And yes, you'll encounter reversals. Days when your limbs are burdensome and your thoughts are clouded. When you consume with emotions and the former programs reclaim your digit. On those days, you will select the tiniest feasible victory. You will not chastise yourself with theatrical oaths or staged remorse. You will stroll for 10 minutes. You will scribe 1 section. You will consume a vessel of water and cleanse. And recall that fresh beginnings are a routine occurrence, not a yearly occasion. You will pardon yourself swiftly and revert to the trail. The trail pardons rapidly. The trail disregards what you announced. It solely concerns that your souls are advancing. You desire to comprehend why solitary walking succeeds. Because fellowship is lovely, but consensus can be perilous. The incorrect consensus maintains you minor. The correct discord liberates you. When you stroll solo, you debate with yourself truthfully. You bargain with your indolence. You deny your apprehension. You interrogate your pretexts until the sole element remaining is deed. And deed, hushed, steady deed reauthors personas. You are not attempting to be regimented. You are evolving into an individual for whom regimen is standard. You are not attempting to become fit. You are a fit individual navigating your day. You are not attempting to launch an enterprise, acquire talent, compose a volume. You are the individual who executes those in minor portions daily until the day materializes. When the endeavor presents itself to the globe with its unique tone, there will be a dawn when your quiet isn't burdensome anymore. It's buoyant. It's air. You'll perch at your workstation and observe your backbone is erect. Your mandible is relaxed, your respiration profound. You'll detect yourself beaming sans cause. That's not fortune. That's synchronization. That's the resonance of an existence that ultimately suits. That's what transpires when you cease cramming yourself into spaces incapable of containing your tomorrow. The unease you experience now isn't isolation, it's growth. You are expanding into someone your history cannot decipher. Folks will inquire, what altered? You'll respond, all. And it commenced minor. You'll discuss the initial week you retired timely. The initial occasion you declined an evening outing, not because you were penniless, but because you were constructing. The initial dawn you strolled amid precipitation. The initial day you revealed the truth in your ledger. The initial instant you didn't proclaim the action. You merely executed it. These are your markers across the stream. Incrementally, softly, loyally, delightfully. Even on the days when delight resembles defiance. And now I'm going to request you to perform something uneasy. I want you to pledge. Not openly, not theatrically, just between you and yourself. Pledge to a period of hushed implementation. Pledge to the labor that won't be observed, the distances that won't be charted, the sheets that won't be shared. Select a path and linger there sufficiently for the trail to acknowledge your identity. Become the individual who does not over-justify, over-disclose, or over-commit. Become the individual who under-proclaims and over-provides. Become the individual whose existence is sensed because the production is authentic. You will yearn for ease. Fortunate you. Ease departed the discussion. You will yearn for a support team. Positive update. The trail will applaud with each stride you decline to emit. You will yearn for a bypass. Here's the reality. The extended route is the bypass. The extended route is where you master transporting your vision sans abandoning it in turmoil. The extended route provides you foundations and scope and durability. The extended route renders the breeze enduring. Embrace it. Envision the day the quiet fractures because it will. Not with a yell, but with proof. You share a portion of trail with appreciation. Then persist. Your quiet isn't dominance. It's management. You have been granted an existence. You are accountable for it. That accountability will render you tender with folks and firm with your habits. You will regret swiftly. You will pardon frequently. You will maintain criteria like a barrier around your plot. And when you falter, and you will not rationalize it. You will adjust direction sans festivities. Softly, promptly, onward. If this is echoing, it's because the boisterous rendition of you is weary. The rendition that appeases, enacts, and postures is depleted. Permit it to repose. Permit it to fade. Permit the regimented, dedicated, stable, tender, unyielding rendition ascend. That rendition does not boast. That rendition doesn't require a soundtrack. That rendition requires footwear, a scheme for the forthcoming hour, and esteem for the forthcoming inhalation. So, we revert to the commencement, to the stark reality that initiated this all. Walk alone. Stay silent. Not as a motto, but as a tactic, not as a brief purification, but as an essence you acquire with your living. And as you advance into the forthcoming hour of your existence, I want you to sense something constructing. A tension behind the gaze, a heat in the torso, a hint of moisture that doesn't signify sorrow. They signify allowance. Allowance to depart the clamor. Allowance to rely on the effort. Allowance to evolve into the individual you've been delegating to tomorrow. This is your instant. This is your segment. This is your inhalation. You prepared? Then rise. Set the device aside. Fasten the cords. Unfold the sheet. Inhale. Commence. Don't inform them. Don't inquire them. Don't alert them. Just proceed. And when they inquire where you've been months hence, years hence, you'll beam and reveal the truth in one phrase that contains a whole period within it. I was preparing in the hush. If you're aligned, continue strolling. In the forthcoming inhalation, we delve further into the routine structure of this existence. How to maintain your core when folks press. How to construct drive that declines to fracture. And how to permit your quiet resonate so profoundly the globe inclines to heed. So, let's advance through the gateway you just unlatched and craft the routine structure that sustains a hushed existence when the globe attempts to dismantle it. No spectacles, no declaration, just a structure that respirates with you. Consider your day as a dwelling with 3 hushed chambers. The first is where you construct. The second is where you evolve. The third is where you bestow. Construct is the labor, the artistry, the profound creation that nobody applauds at dawn. Evolve is the physique and intellect. Perspire, extend, examine that enhances the container bearing your vision. Bestow is the manner you assist, the response you provide, the compassion you offer, the pledge you honor sans announcing it. If you contact these 3 chambers daily, even for a few sincere moments, your existence ceases creaking and commences vibrating. Sturdy entrances require hushed pivots. Here's how that manifests in actual atmosphere, actual illumination. Daybreak remains uncertain. Some of you are considering, but what about chance? Quiet implies I'll be disregarded. No, quiet implies your indicator clarifies. You're not concealing in a cavern. You're constructing a beacon. Illumination does not implore vessels to observe. It radiates. It's noticeable because it's steady, because it's present every evening. Identical elevation, identical ring of transparency, rotating stably. Be the beacon visible from distances. Not because you yell, but because you decline to cease being what you are.